Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wild Chats, your home for everything animals. I am Ryan. That is Maria and Pepita.
Pepita, let's make sure that you think that that's Pepita.
Oh, yeah, we got to get them straight. Okay, Maria's in the red and Pepita is in the collar. Just the collar.
It's just red.
with
Very
the
animated dog. Very animated.
with the red name tag. So yeah, she's perfect today. So today we're gonna have fun covering some animals causing havoc in the world. So Pepita's going to be the exact opposite of that and just the chilled out yoga, like relaxed, what's going on, opposite of havoc.
Well, when she was younger, she will cause so much havoc. It was ridiculous. Like she was truly a, an ambassador to her breed.
Okay. So what's that? That brings up a good question then. So what is not Pepita? Well, maybe it is Pepita. I don't know. But of the animals that you've had in your homes through your lifetime, which one caused the most damage? Which one wreaked the most havoc in your household?
There was a dog that my mom had, and he would chew on the legs of the furniture, and my mom has antique furniture. So
Ooh.
all the legs of the fancy antique furniture were chewed up by this dog.
But it was your
So
mom's
that's the
dog,
dog.
not you.
No, not mine. My dog is perfect.
Okay. All right. You know what?
Yeah, perfect.
You mentioned something to me once that I thought was a really good like philosophy of animals. I don't know if you remember it, but we were talking about people getting pets for their kids.
Oh yeah.
What's your philosophy on that subject?
If you are gonna get a pet, make sure you get it for yourself because your child may or may not take care of it. So you want to make sure as the adult to really know that you will be the one taking care of your kid's pet. So you may want to make sure you want it so that you actually enjoy taking care of it.
Which was the practical explanation. The way you put it to me that was really short, concise, and really hit home for me was just get a dog because you want one, or a pet because you want one. And if the kids happen to play with it, that's great. Because before we have kids, we want dogs and we want pets and we want them for ourselves. And I just thought those sometimes in life, it's those little mental shifts that make the biggest difference. So that was impactful to me when you were like, yeah, somebody told me once that if you get an animal and you have kids, get it because you want the animal. Don't get an animal for the kids. I just thought that was
Yeah, you're gonna have to be the one who has to walk it. And let's
yeah.
be honest. I mean, children has the best. They do have the best intention. But as a child, when I had my first dog, my mom was like, no. We used to live in an apartment. I had to go 20 floors down to walk the dog, and that wasn't gonna happen after going to school the whole day and doing all the extracurricular activities. So that dog didn't last long. He ended up going to a farm, and it did great.
Okay, guys. So just so you know, in Colombia, there actually are farms. That's what they call vacation houses. The dog didn't go to a farm. You're still alive.
I didn't think about that.
Yes, the animal is still alive.
Not a farm. My bunny did go to a farm.
Yes, her mom did not tell her it's in a farm. No, it actually did. That's where people keep their pets in Colombia.
Yes. Country houses, yes.
Yeah, because when I was a kid, my mom would always tell me, take the dog for the walk, and I'd sit on my skateboard and let him run, like run me around the block and stuff. But when you're a kid, your interests change so quick, and you have so many other things going on, and you take up a sport, and so I thought that was a great philosophy. But steering back to our animals causing havoc theme. What's the most damage you've seen an animal cause just out in the world, in person?
I've heard, I haven't seen, stories of elephants who, because of an ill doing, something that, what did I mess up your...
You can tell by the look on my face.
I don't know what you're going to talk about, but as soon as I said something about elephants, you were like,
okay. I assume you'd never seen an elephant, so I thought it was a safe question to ask you what's the most damage you've seen an animal cause in person. But since Maria has segued us perfectly into our first video.
In person, the worst thing that Pepita ever did is she chewed up. You saw her size. She
Yeah.
chewed up the edges of the bathroom, of the frame of the bathroom door because she was
Oh
so
yeah, yeah.
upset. I
Those are
put her in
easily
there.
replaceable. That
She
is
got so upset. She chewed it up, and then we put. I'm like, don't worry. These are my boyfriend's house, and he's like, don't worry. We'll just put some jalapeno sauce. She won't touch it again, honey.
okay.
The
Well,
true nature of a Mexican dog came out, and she chewed the door even more.
she's like, what? Jalapeno sauce? It's even more attractive to me now.
Yeah, let's do this, Valentina sauce. This is amazing.
Well, Maria led us perfectly into this, and so we're just gonna go for it. Yes, that's like you were saying. Sometimes when animals have their habitats encroached upon, they start interacting with people in ways that they just never had before, and then sometimes you get a little bit of havoc, or sometimes animals are domesticated that they're having a bad day or have had enough, or just aren't animals that you should have ever domesticated in the first place. And this guy was having a bad day.
I just feel bad for the people on top of it. Oh,
well, they're riding him clearly, and he's got the ceremonial headdress on, so it must have been for some kind of procession or some event.
Oh, I just don't talk on the people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know what ticked him off. It could just be that red car matched his headdress, and he just didn't want any competition that day. I don't know.
Well, that's what happens when you don't animals, especially elephants. They're so smart. They have amazing memory, and if they're boys, they hit an age where they become very aggressive, and it's just part of their process. And that happens with like puberty on many animals. They become wild, and that's really natural for them. That's why they go into their like bachelor groups and things like that. And I couldn't tell if it was a male or a female, but clearly that critter was having a bad day.
But he also singles out this. It's like he just picks on the one. I don't know what those things are called. We don't have them anywhere I've ever lived. But it's like a scooter, but it's got truck wheels. Yeah, they had tuk-tuks in parts of Asia that I've been in, but they're not really designed like that. But yeah,
that is destruction to its maximum. And you know the thing is, that's not uncommon.
No, you can tell everybody's just kind of standing around watching it. No one's freaking out like it's something they've never seen before. And one last go.
I wonder why the yellow. It really took it against that. I wonder if the owner did something to that elephant.
I don't know. That's what I mean. It seemed like it was that color because the other stuff that got damaged was stuff that just happened to get caught in the crossfire.
Yeah.
But he definitely. So you're thinking maybe somebody in that vehicle. So it's kind of like that the road rage in LA where you cut someone off on the freeway and then they get all pissed off. Maybe the tuk-tuk just kind of nudged.
I wouldn't be surprised because there have been many stories. Not just Asian elephants like that elephant, but also African elephants who will go out of their way to vendetta towards someone. And there was a story recently of a woman who passed away, and she took that female's baby, that elephant's baby, away. Something happened. She took the baby away, and that elephant went to the grave and dug her out. It was just awful.
Oh yeah, I read a story once about a tiger, and somebody, I think it was in India, I'm not sure exactly where, but somebody had killed its friend or its mate. I'm not sure which one it was, but this tiger basically hunted down the people that did it and got his revenge. You hear stories about I think it's in Africa or somewhere where gorillas or something, or they're really smart and they actually know how to undo the traps that the hunters set.
Yes, they do.
Yeah,
love it.
So cool. They're so much smarter and more emotional than people realize. elephants have been known to like mourn the dead, and you'll see videos of stuff like that. And like the capacity for empathy and caring in animals, I just don't think that people really realize how deep that they can be.
I took a class in animal evolution. My major is biology, and I truly studied it out of pure pleasure. And in one of the classes, they were talking about the animal behaving just for reproduction, and to me, it didn't fit that it will only be for reproduction. I understand you have to pass your genetic makeup onto
Mhm.
further generations so you could live forever. I understand that, but when you start seeing the interactions and the way they mourn, just the elephants mourning, they go and visit their loved ones from generations prior. They go to the place where they rest. They do rituals. Crows do the same thing.
Mhm. Mhm.
Many animals do it, and it's just, you cannot in your right mind tell me with a straight face that animals have no feelings. Like, to me, that just seems so absurd. I mean, if, and I said this before, but for some reason, to me, knowing that a cow has a best friend was one of the most shocking moments of
Mm.
realizations in my life, because we
Mhm.
see farm animals all the time. True farmers will respect the animal in a way that will honor the animal, yet you still have to eat it, but you still do it in a way that is kosher and respected, halal, kosher, any way that will respect the animal. But it's just so beautiful to see how they interact with one another, how interspecies, how the horses get depressed if they don't have a friend, and same thing with
Mhm.
elephants.
Yeah, there's certain we did in a video that we did before, we were talking about the alpacas, how you can't have a solitary alpaca. A lot of people have them for pets, or there was a credit or something at one point in the United States where like the wool and the fur and stuff. So a lot of people were starting alpaca farms, but you can't keep them alone. They
They're
just don't.
pack animals.
Yeah,
They're herds.
exactly. And they'll take a human as kind of part of that pack. But then again, like we were talking about, when you're kids, you have to spend time with them. If it's just going to be one alpaca and you're their pack, you have to spend a lot of time with them. It can't be an animal you go visit a few times a week for
Look at
them.
cheetahs at a zoo. I mean, cheetahs are in such an endangered species, that they will have cheetahs with dogs so they don't go get depressed for
Yeah,
something
yeah, I've
that
seen
simple. I
that.
was watching a video yesterday.
Uh-huh.
I wish I could show it to you, but I don't have it saved. And it was a video about these lion playing with these two tiny dash hounds,
Okay.
the sausage
Dachshunds.
dogs.
Yeah. Yeah. Wiener dogs.
It was so adorable because they look like snack sizes, and
Uh-huh.
then this big male lion, and I'm like, oh, this is, and the puppy's just upside down, just like, can you play with me? I'm like,
This is
yeah,
going to go
like
poorly.
this. Oops, hot dog.
Oh, but yeah, once, like we were saying, once you get certain animals around humans, they're not used to being that close to humans, so you get these interactions that aren't ideal. But then sometimes you get the opposite, where these animals get so used to being around humans that they just kind of take over.
Oh my gosh.
I'm assuming this is in Lopburi, Thailand. I've been to an area where this exact thing happens, and these monkeys are so prevalent that they literally shut down businesses if they decide that that's the street they're hanging out on that day. They run in these massive packs, and
What are they
they,
doing? Are they hurting something?
they're just fighting each other in the streets, and they just move as this massive pack, like they own the city.
Well,
And
they do own the city.
well, they do own the city,
I
but
mean,
tourists come to see them, and because of that, it brings in income. So then they feed the animals and they want them there. Well, it got to a point where it had just gotten too far. There was so many animals, and they were wrecking businesses, and people were almost, they wanted to come because they heard about them. And then once they got there, um, and this was a little bit before my time, it hadn't quite gotten out of hand. But if you guys go to our website, Wild Chats TV, was it wildchats.tv? The photo at the bottom, we each have a photo and a profile on the website, but the photo of me is actually me in Thailand. And I'm assuming it's the same city, with a monkey on my arm, which was really cool. But that photo was taken right before two more jumped on top of me.
Oh God.
And these monkeys, they literally just steal stuff off people. Like the one took my sunglasses and I'm trying to get them back from him. And then they get all upset. One bit me on the back of the arm because I'm like, oh, I've got three monkeys. This is fun. This is fun. This isn't fun anymore. And I have no way of getting them off me. So I start kind of like dipping to try to see if I can kind of get them to go. And then that did not make one of them happy, who bit me on the back of my like tricep. But I did manage to retain my sunglasses, and I talked to somebody. I don't know if he I think they like sold sodas and stuff around the temple. So they were really aware of the animal's behavior.
Of
And
the
he said,
thievery, of the monkey thievery.
well, here's the fun part. He's like, go over to the temple. And in the temple was, they kind of had steps up and little sections underneath, but they were gated off at that point because they didn't, structurally, they didn't want people going in. And this temple was only 15 feet high. The spaces underneath were only like 6-7 feet. There really wasn't anywhere to go anyway. But the monkeys would climb in between the gate netting and you could look inside and there's literally watches, hats, sunglasses. They've got their own treasure chest sitting underneath the temple and these little areas of all the stuff that they stole off the tourists.
Unbelievable. That actually reminds me of a story of my niece. She was I think it was Thailand also, and she had her backpack, and one of the monkeys wanted to steal her backpack. And she had her passport there. She was traveling to France.
No.
And she had her backpack and she's struggling with the monkey.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, she was on a bridge and there was a big drop.
Yeah.
So if the monkey would have dropped her passport, she would have not been able to get it. Anyway, she grabbed the bag. The monkey ripped her hair off and did one of this, like sniffed it. And then
what a little jerk.
She had to run into the forester, the park ranger.
Yeah,
she ran into the park ranger, and the park ranger had to walk with her and a broom because the monkey wanted her. I mean, the way my niece tells the story is way better, of course, but oh my gosh, I can just picture this whole situation.
But I love the park ranger's like, I know how to handle this. This is common. This is common.
Yeah, the dude had his weapon of choice for cleaning monkeys around. Oh, fascinating.
So we've had some content in the past where we've talked about the drop bear in Australia. Do you want to tell everybody what the drop bear is?
Well, according to legend, a drop bear is actually a koala that is a carnivorous creature that will drop from a tree to eat you alive. And they also have other scary creatures, but that was one of the best stories, and they will tell it to tourists so that they would be very scared every time they walked under trees.
Now, did you know that California has its own drop bear?
Are you serious?
Well, kind of.
Well,
so in 2019, a sheriff was driving down the road when all of a sudden a black bear lands on his car.
Oh, he dropped.
It dropped. The bear dropped.
You're not kidding.
They don't know if the bear jumped from the cliff or he was actually in a tree over top and like fell out of the tree. But literally, not only did it fall in the car, it caused the car to drive to an embankment, roll over, and actually catch fire.
No.
Seriously. No. Yep.
Speaking of dropping things, there's stories of cars of police officers telling stories of fish falling from birds that couldn't hold on to them. And not as horrible as your story, but
I just couldn't believe that. I was like, what? But since we're on some mythical animals here. Now, this isn't the guy. We're going to tell the story of the minion cow after. But the minion cow would be the ancestor to this guy. But I just always find this video so cool. And since basically, if you just think of like a version of what you're going to see, but like 30 times bigger, you'll have the lead-in visualization to the minion cow.
Okay, Les Minion cow. Ah.
Like I think it's an anaconda in the Amazon that he's swimming with. And
Yes.
I'm not a big snake person, but man, the size of these things and then just the concept of it swimming. And then you'll see the diver here. So you get the contrast of size. Like this thing is massive. Massive.
Minion cows is a mythological creature that is believed to be a titanoboa. And they're gigantic. They're known as knocking bridges down. Like
that's the havoc part I wanted to get into. So the myth and legend goes that they actually burrow underground. So they can swim, they're on top of ground, they burrow underground. So they would say that like if houses and stuff would fall down, or like now bridges, the myth has been developed over hundreds of years. So when they would say a bridge, it was probably a rope bridge or something, not a substantial like concrete bridge like we would think of today.
I don't know. I'm gonna go with concrete.
But it could be concrete also. But they would say that they would dig under the footings, and so they would blame any sinkholes or pits or any collapses of houses and bridges around the Amazon would get blamed on the minion cow, the mythical Titanoboa gigantic. Take this guy times 30.
That is fascinating. Honestly, fascinating to see.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a movie with Jennifer Lopez, J-Lo now, but Jennifer Lopez at that time. I think it was in the 90s. Anaconda movie, and it was basically the minion cow version of it.
Okay. Now, would you imagine what's the smallest animal you can think of or situation where an animal could literally take over like an entire block?
Like you mean like a housing development?
Like a city block, like there's me and like, 20 houses down on one little row. And then I grew up in LA. Everything was in kind of a grid. So not apartments, but like an actual neighborhood where you've got like a block of houses on each side.
Besides cockroaches and rats in Australia?
Okay, those are some options. No, this is like take over. Like I don't want to leave my house. I'm afraid.
And you said it's small.
No, like how big of an animal? What's the smallest possible animal, I guess is my question. Like if there's rats, I'm not afraid to leave my house. There might be a lot of them, but if there's a tiger, yeah, I'm probably not leaving my house. But what's like a bundle of bunnies probably isn't going to do it for me. I'm not afraid of a bundle of bunnies.
They wouldn't do it for you.
I'm good.
Oh, crabs. Like I will not leave my house. There's certain seasons where crabs cross the streets and they literally take over.
Okay.
I will not leave my house for that.
Okay.
Or rats either.
Okay.
In Australia, happens with the rats. And,
that's your fear of it. So there was a city, I don't know where it was, but basically there was an abandoned house. And in the abandoned house, raccoons started to congregate.
Oh, God.
And the
trash
house,
pandas.
For whatever, yes, the trash pandas were hanging out. And we all know how disruptive trash pandas can be. And they like to get into just about everything. Well, this abandoned house stayed abandoned for a while, and they just kept multiplying and multiplying and multiplying. To the point where there were so many of these things running up and down the street. They had their home base, but they basically took over the entire street. They did an interview with somebody that lived on the street, and he said when he wouldn't even have his grandkids come visit him anymore. He was afraid because they were starting to like attack people, because it went from this is our place to stay warm to this is our range to this is our place, get out people.
That's really scary. And they're very aggressive.
Yes. Raccoons look adorable, and some people keep them as pets. We've got some fun stuff in a future video that we're going to do of some panda or some trash pandas hanging out as pets. These were definitely not domesticated.
No, they're very dangerous. Not only that, but they're very smart. They're very strong.
Yes.
And yeah, they're no. I
That's
will
the
be more afraid of that than the crabs now.
that's the thing that I think that's you've got a pack mentality, you've got high intelligence, you've got comfort with humans. It kind of boils everything that we've already talked about to this point together, all rolled into one to cause havoc. When you get that pack mentality of the monkeys and you get that aggression and that
Yeah.
comfort around people, yeah, you get a little loose. Sometimes, the humans do it too. The more comfortable you get, the more you can be yourself. And the raccoons were really themselves.
There was
And
actually a story of some spiders in Brazil. Like they literally took over some area. I don't remember where I read that, but it was kind of scary. The whole area got with the spiders creating silk all over the place.
mhm.
Nasty.
And then they decided to hitch rides inside of bananas to the United States to try to take over here also.
Probably, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it
Oh,
does happen with invasive species. A
have you
lot
seen
more
that
than you
before?
think.
Some of the
Pardon?
Brazilian wandering spiders, like the most poisonous spiders on the planet, have been found inside like banana bags because most of
Yeah.
it comes from the Amazon and South America and then shipped to the United States.
Yep.
Fortunately, it was only one, so you don't get an invasive species issue like you do with these same gigantic snakes we were just looking at that are now in Florida.
But I
Uh,
don't know if the anacondas are as much as the python and the
it is. You're right.
reticulated.
You're right.
Mhm.
It was pet pythons that people had released, and then the pythons grew out of control.
The Everglades is crowded with pythons and reticulated snakes. The reticulated
Mm-hmm.
they're the largest species, and they grow so big they have no predators that even an alligator or a crocodile is no match. That's kind of scary.
Yeah. You always see those battles, and it's usually, well, it can be 50-50. I've seen both sides. I've seen where the snake coils around and takes out the alligator. But I've also seen one where like a snake ate the alligator, but the alligator didn't die because it has to be digested, and it literally like ripped out of the sides of the snake because the
Oh,
snake literally bit off a little more than he could chew. Well, not
that's
chew, but
disgusting.
digest.
That's disgusting. But it that we actually when we did our video about crocodiles, we talked a little bit about the snake crocodile or snake alligator fight, and it's kind of scary how animals actually Florida is very dangerous in my opinion. Something will want to eat you, something is going to bite you, something it's just you just don't know. I mean anything from ants, who there actually are some ants called crazy ants that they're attracted to electrical wire. Talking about havoc.
So
Yeah.
they're not just like crazy, like a little mentally imbalanced, and no, not that kind
They
of crazy.
probably are, although, the colony, they're very smart critters. I doubt is mentally imbalanced as
It's like,
much
oh
as
God,
they think
that's
they are.
Fred. Stay away from Fred. Nobody hangs out with him. He's off. No, Fred, you're over there. No, get
No,
over
no,
there.
no, Fred, no.
Have you seen that video? This is another one that's in our future, but I don't know if you've seen it. So there's like ants are very like team orientated animals. They work
Yes,
together really well. I'm sorry, I have to do this. It just fits perfectly.
you have to do it. Let's do it. What are we doing?
Well, we were talking about team oriented animals, and then we were talking about
Havoc causing
yeah, we're talking about Fred kinda.
team oriented animals. Yeah, sounds really
Oh,
fun.
it's beautiful, and then it's sad because you're like, wait, these are team orientated animals. Oh, tell
It's
me again.
beautiful, but it's sad. Now
Yes.
I have to see this situation. I mean, I don't know what's beautiful yet sad besides
Here you go.
sometimes humans.
Get ready to mist up and laugh a little bit here. Here we go. They're ants. They work together. They ants. They're good. That's Fred. Nobody likes Fred. Bye, Fred.
Oh my gosh, you can see Fred's face. Like, you can just this is so sad. Oh my god, y'all so
Guys,
horrible. Look at
That's
him.
what about me, guys. Oh, they're not coming back.
I'm actually heartbroken about this.
And there's the difference between the two of us, guys. I laugh and find jolly. Maria always feels bad. So, not always, but
I do find joy, but not on the misery.
Oh,
It is just you can just feel like y'all forgot about me. Like you
I know, because
used
he's
me
like
like
he's
a
paddling
stepping
his little
stool.
feet, and then all of a sudden he just stops. Like, oh, you did.
The antenna
Oh,
just drops. Like and how about me? Y'all, you guys. Oh, Fred. We're gonna call him Fred. That's his name now.
oh man.
That was very sad. But there are some ants that enslave other ants, which was very surprising to me. How animals can use, like monkeys can use cats and dogs as pets, but they
Oh,
also
okay.
have them as guarding animals, especially dogs. Like they'll feed them, but then they'll have them as guarding dogs.
Okay, I
And
thought
then
you were
they'll
talking
have
about the
cats for
zombie,
play.
like the zombie ants, where the like other critters come in and actually like are able to take over their brains and essentially like operate them like a zombie. I thought you were going that way
Yeah.
with it.
Well, yeah, the acacia tree does that
A
to
tree does
ants.
that?
The acacia tree.
I can never pronounce that one. Yeah, that's
Well, I'm gonna go with acacia. Please correct me. Once we
okay.
have a lot of people, you'll correct me once we.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have some
Anyway,
help pretty soon. We'll start doing some live chats, and then people
yeah.
can make fun of you for your misspeaking and your akashas, and me for who knows what.
Hey, it's fair for all in a
Yeah.
nice, polite, kind way. But yeah, the idea is to have fun and enjoy. But the ants get their sweet nectar from the acacia tree, and then in as a payment, basically, like here, I lure you in. Their system cannot process any other food, so they can only literally go to another acacia tree. Therefore,
Gotcha.
going from flower to flower. So
Uh-huh.
manipulative plants. So when we talk about animals causing havoc, we should also talk about plants causing havoc
True. True.
for
See, I
at
was
least
more
the animals.
well, they get another plant animal combo is they've got a lot of stories about like moose and birds and stuff that eat fruit that's fallen to the ground and it's been there for so long that it starts to ferment, which means that it starts to have a bit of an alcohol content. So there's cities literally, like I've seen videos with like drunk moose that are like hung up on trees. They get like tangled up in a tree and can't get out because they're so inebriated, or birds that literally fall off their perches because they eat these fruit, and then because they're so small, they don't have the liver to filter out everything, and so they just kind of get a little inebriated.
A little
Uh,
tipsy there. But I've seen it
yeah,
with squirrels in when people leave their pumpkins out for Halloween. I've seen most of that happening with squirrels eating the fermented pumpkin, and it's just adorable and sad at the same time. They have no control.
no, well, so here's a story about a squirrel. This guy did have control though. He
Oh
decided
no.
to break in to a pub, and nobody knows how he got in, but somehow he found his way over to the beer taps.
No, no, no.
Yes, beer taps. And he started to partake a little bit. And after he got a little bit tipsy, he caused 300 pounds worth of damage inside of this club. And nobody knew who did it. They thought like somebody came in at night. So they were expecting, when they reviewed the security tapes, to like find
Yeah.
a drunk patron or someone that broke in to have some free booze. And they see this squirrel like scurrying from somewhere that's off camera and gets up to the beer taps, opens them up and has a little bit of fun, and then decides to rampage around a little bit inebriated.
How do you explain that to your insurance? Is the question. Like, a squirrel broke in. You're right, sir. You're crazy. Well, thank goodness for tapes.
Yeah, exactly.
But did you hear the story about the penguins in a sushi bar? There was a story of some
I feel like
penguins
this is a
breaking into a
joke, not a
sushi bar.
story. There was 2 penguins in a sushi bar. Go ahead.
So two penguins enter a sushi bar. That was the story.
All right, that's it. That's the whole sushi bar.
They just broke in. That's all I have to say about
Right,
it.
that's the entire story. It's 2 penguins. All right, so
The
let's
entire
make it
story.
better. Let's see. So if you're a sushi bar owner, what is the least likely animal you would want to see walking through the front door?
A seal. Can you imagine?
Seal. Okay.
A sea lion
Yeah, I was
wobbling
thinking
through the
sea lion. He's
place.
a little bigger. He's causing a little more damage.
I can see that happening. In
I don't
fact,
know.
I saw a video of a sea lion at it was just a regular little tiny store, and the guy was being so nice to try to kick him out. And that sea lion did not want to leave. That was his turf.
Like mine. If he was a dog, he would have peed on it and just be like, mine. That's mine. That's also mine. Thank you for that.
That's
That's
mine,
mine.
mine, mine. Like the seagulls in it was in Nemo. Mine, mine, mine.
Exactly.
Speaking of seagulls, those
Okay.
creatures are nasty.
Oh yeah. Dude,
They are
they don't.
nasty.
That's another example of an animal that's just so used to humans, they just don't care anymore. They'll swoop down on the beach, take your food, take whatever. Like, yeah, seagulls are.
Oh, shiny keys. Let's take them.
Oh yeah, they're verging on like pigeon status. I mean, they're starting to be quite the nuisance. I mean,
I'm gonna say crows because crows are so smart. Well,
yeah,
pigeons
but
are
you go to
too.
like I've only been to a few places in Europe. That's still on my to-do travel list. Is most of Europe I'm saving for a little bit later because I want to get a place there and then just travel around by train. But like I hear in Italy, in certain places, like the pigeon population is just so bad. You can't even go to certain places or enjoy some of the cafes outdoors just because there's so many pigeons and so many droppings that just the sheer number of them have caused a problem. Not that they're particularly causing havoc in like general, like in specific instances outside of just pooping on people.
That's a havoc. Not only that, but the bacteria and they have so many parasites. I tried to rescue a pigeon that had a GERD. It had an infected by probably a cat or whatever. So
Okay.
I took it home and was giving it antibiotics and things like that. And oh, I no, it was the critters that came out.
Oh.
Yeah, no, don't touch them. Just let
Yeah.
them be. They'll survive. They'll survive.
Yeah, you just don't want them to survive and multiply too much. That's pigeons
That's the
can cause havoc
problem.
by sheer volume, and
Yeah,
seagulls are right there with them.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you guys had a great time. I know we did and always do. We will put some links down below for some other fun animal facts and stuff and some of the other videos that we were referencing for some nice bonus material. We'd love to get into everything that we'd love to get into, but these podcasts would end up like hours and hours long. So we hope to see you guys next time. If you get a chance, wherever you guys consume your podcasts, please go over there, whether it be Apple Podcast or Spotify, Google, or if you're on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe, give us a good rating, and write some comments. We love reading what you guys think about the channel. We're kind of in at the beginning of this a little bit, so all your suggestions and stuff, we love hearing. We love the responses that we've gotten so far. It seems like people are really enjoying the show. We're looking forward to having more of you guys join us, and then we're going to start doing some live streams and some of these fun questions that I get to ask Maria and get random answers. We'll get to throw them out to everybody and see how fun and random we can get with
And read your random answers. Keep them PG. Thank you.
smallest animals that can take over a neighborhood, and then somebody's like minion cow. Like no.
Hey, it will take the entire neighborhood.
Oh, take over. You didn't mean collapse into a chasm. Okay. Oh wait, hold on. Sorry. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye.